Hi guys, and welcome once again to Curated Logic, where we try and up your brain game. For you today, we will be doing the pros and cons of an app that I had high hopes for the first time I downloaded it. It has been well reviewed and has consistently shown as an editor's choice in the App Store. And although I must say it did not live up to my expectations, I was able to see the foundations of something great. The app in question? Elevate Brain Training. Okay, as I usually do with pros and cons, I like to start with the positives. Might as well get off on a good note. The initial things that drew me to Elevate were the reviews and recommendations I mentioned in the intro. It is obvious that this app has some admirers, and there were some good reasons that it should. The design of the app is beautiful, yet functional, with the animations within the game relatively simple yet contemporary, with a sense of familiarity and warmth that really connects the player to the app. I think that this mainly comes from the playfulness and colours the developers employed, tapping into that childhood memory of school trying to make learning fun. And some of the games were indeed fun. I've always been a sucker for maths and language puzzles, so I found real enjoyment in the multiplication and division games, as well as those that asked me to find synonyms for words or recall a word based on just the definition. These type of games reminded me of my teenage and, to be honest, my current self, making up games to teach myself words in order to become a better Scrabble player, or testing my mathematics abilities with riddles, puzzles, or just my school books. It was a nice feeling of nostalgia that many games do not give. But, to be honest, that feeling did not last, nor did the fun I was having. This would have been okay if I felt I was really learning and developing my skill set, as I can always forego some fun if the result is good for my brain. However, unfortunately, I also didn't feel like this was the case. I just didn't feel like the app provided enough of a challenge. But I think I know why. When you first make an account, you are asked to do a quick test to set the level at which you begin each of the game categories. The categories are writing, speaking, reading, and math. The test covers a little of everything, and although it says it is 3 to 4 minutes long, it only took me about 40 seconds. Whilst there were some challenging questions in the test, and this got me excited for the challenge the app would provide, when I went to do each category at the level I was assessed at, I found the games, for the most part, too easy. After the fun of the games being new wore off, I was bored. In addition to this, I actually had to create a second account to find out what level I would start at, because although I downloaded the app last year and did the test then, when I went into the app this year, I was put back to what I imagine is the lowest level, without any attempt at re-establishing what my abilities actually were. This made for an even more boring time, as the games at this level were almost always basic. I think what is needed is probably a more in-depth test to really assess someone's ability more aptly, or just putting players at a higher difficulty level. The way it is at the moment didn't make me feel like it was giving me a really good gauge of where I sat in the scheme of things, but rather that it wanted me to be on the app longer, having to go through more tedious work to get where you should actually be. This also tainted for me the ranking scores provided. These scores are just based on the level you are at, so when you don't feel that level is accurate, you don't feel like these are either. It just ends up feeling like those above you have spent more time making their way through the sludge. Because of all of this, the biggest drawback I feel with the game is the price. I had signed up for a free week's trial, but after that would have had to have paid over $60 for a year's full access. And if I wanted to pay month to month, it was over $12 a month. As I have said in previous videos, the only way you're going to get me paying for an app is by providing something that nowhere else provides and something I feel challenges and advances me. Apart from the graphics and design, many of the tests the app provided I could have got from a number of other places. And by feeling that I wasn't getting the challenge I wanted from what I was doing, there just wasn't any way I was going to pay for the app. And even if I had paid for the app, I still would have had to have completed certain steps to access other features. Again, it just feels like it is trying to coerce you to keep playing, rather than letting the app do that by being brilliant. I would have loved it if I could have played the really hard stuff, just to see how hard the hardest level is, and figure out on my own how I feel I compare, especially as I didn't feel the app had done a good job of that. I think there are a couple of other problems, although more minor. In some games, I had to wait to learn about errors I made, rather than just being told of what they were at the time. I want to understand what I have done wrong then and there, so I can continue playing the game without making the same mistake again. Also, once I was able to unlock the study options the game provides, I found them mostly to be stuff I either already knew or was not in depth enough. There were a couple of interesting facts and tidbits I took away, but nothing outstanding that made me want to study more. It's funny. Whilst I was making this review, I kept on thinking, maybe I have been too harsh on this app. There are some really good points about it, and maybe I just didn't give it enough of a chance. But even if this were true, I am not willing to pay $12 to give it that chance, indicating to me, and probably to you, how much I actually took away from this app. Even so, I will give the app 6 out of 10. It doesn't deserve a failing grade by any means, but needs to think more about the people that will be drawn to download this type of app in how it delivers its content. That's it for today. If you have played Elevate and have an opinion on it, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want to continue upping your brain game, follow Curated Logic on any of our socials, or you can support us through Patreon. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are keeping safe and happy. Until next time, keep upping your brain game and have fun. See ya.